Madam Co-Chair, members of the committee, representative, the OregonSaves program is asking for a $1.8 million supplemental appropriation. And the program initially is funded with a general fund loan for last biennium and this biennium and likely next biennium until the corpus of the employee's contribution into their savings account is sufficient to fund both the normal operations of Treasury's support for the program and begin repayment of these general fund loans. The $1.8 million is for predominantly education and outreach to employers and employees' participation, and then there are likely to be some of these costs associated with litigation. Thank you.
Matt, just a quick follow-up thing. Thank you very much for that. I think you commented this morning, we hope that will be caught up and there will be no more funding, general fund or helping that on it in the future. I think what year we came up with.
Madam Co-Chair and Representative, Treasury has been closely looking at this and working with some national consultants, but at this time they don't have a definitive timeline to begin repayment of the general fund. So they are continuing to bring larger and larger employers on board and participation, and the corpus of the account, I don't have the figure in front of me. I believe it's roughly $1 million or so, continues to grow, but it will be some time before, again, that is sufficient to generate enough fees to pay for the operation of the program and begin repayment of the general fund loan. It's similar in fashion to the 529 program that was started in the early 2000s that required upfront general fund, and then as that grew financially, it was able to become self-supporting and made full repayment of the general fund obligation. Thank you.
Yeah.
Senator Johnson, and then Representative.
Mr. Borden made a remark that jumped out and causes me to have this question. You said litigation, and I'm curious what that was. There were questions raised when this bill was making it through the 2017 session about whether or not we were ready to go, and I was surprised to hear you use the word litigation.
Madam Co-Chair and Senator Johnson, I do not have the actual information in front of me, but as you may recall, the Emergency Board last fall, the agency requested some supplemental funding at that time to pay for what is essentially getting the program up and running, so normal legal costs, and those legal costs are predominantly shared with 2 other states. But then they did get a lawsuit filed against them, I believe, on the application of this to federal law, and so they are working their way through that litigation right now.
Madam Chair, just a comment. I think you're referring to the ERISA, and I think that many of us wished that that issue were resolved prior to diving into this program. As laudable as it is to encourage Oregonians to save, there were these outstanding questions, and now we're going to be paying for litigation. So it's just a comment.
Representative McLane.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just want to make sure the money that is being appropriated will be paid back.
Madam Co-Chair and Representative McLean, yes, it will.
Follow up then, because this program was, which I think Treasurer Reed is doing his best to implement and seems to have been received well, but it's supposed to have not, in the end, cost us anything, so that we loan it some money to get going and then it pays us back. This is some additional money loaned, but it all comes back. Is that correct?
Madam Co-Chair and Representative McLean, that's absolutely correct. This is just a supplemental appropriation to get the program up and running, essentially for cash flow purposes, until it can begin repayment.
All right, thank you.
Senator Thomsen.
Thank you, Madam Co-Chair. How do the actual enrollment rates compare with projections? And it's my understanding that the opt-out rate is trending higher than like industry norms. Is that true?
Madam Co-Chair and Senator, I do not have the actual information in front of me for those particular statistics. My recollection is that they are retaining approximately 70% of the people that do enroll. So the opt-out in the program, is around 30%. But that is a key statistic for this program to monitor into the future, because again, that informs how much of the corpus will grow and can be used for repayment of the general fund.
One follow-up. How many enrollments are needed to break even?
Madam Co-Chair and Senator, I'm sorry, I do not have that information in front of me. The State Treasury has worked with Boston College and has those projections and has recently updated them, but my apology, I don't have them in front of me. I can get them for you.
Representative Starr.
Thank you, Co-Chair Nathanson. My question is on a completely different topic. If